What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. It's Sunday night. That means this is at week's end. The spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics, movies, news, reviews, all that and more. And there's some really cool stuff to talk about because this is Ghost Machine week. So let's get right into it. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Mark.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, and I'd be doing a little bit better if I check out bigtimecollectibles.com and follow them on social media so I don't miss out on all the cool stuff they have. They will be at C2E2 this year, and they have teased that they will have a good number of awesome exclusives that they will reveal along the way. So be sure to follow them on social media to see if there's anything that's pretty cool that might interest you. They're always doing some really fun stuff. If you need any of your comic books cleaned or pressed, though, hit up Justin Comics over on Instagram. He can hook it up. Let him know you found him via the channel. The link is in the description of all my videos, as well as the link to ABX Comics and Games. Could be your future LCS. All you have to do is check the links down below.
I got some books back from Justin not too long ago. Awesome job.
He did good?
Yeah, absolutely. Did really well.
Yeah, because if he didn't do good, I don't know him. I want to make that clear. And we're joined by a special guest tonight. Since this is a very special week, the biggest day for new comic books happened this week, with April 3rd being official Ghost Machine Day. Everyone knows that everyone's been excited about it. We're trying to celebrate it as much as possible to push the reach as far as possible to get quality comics into readers' hands. And this is the week to do it. We got a special guest to help us with that, none other than Mr. Dope Comics himself, another person who's been on the Ghost Machine train since early and talked to me about it. I figured this is a great night to have him on the channel for the first time.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Ghost Machine Week. I'm happy to be here. It's the greatest week of the year for me. There's no other comic day it's gonna be bigger than this, I don't think.
I think not. Like creatively, collectively, like it's just, this is seriously a big deal. Like has major implications on the industry. Even like this is Image 2.0.
This is what we've all been griping about wanting. I mean, great art, great stories, great materials, great price point. I mean, what more do you want?
I was thinking like if Image was like the formation of the Beatles back when, like you had all like the really young, hot artists and writers, whatever. This is more like, okay, now take Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger and Bob Dylan and all these people at the prime of their career and put them together. And that's what you get basically with Ghost Machine instead.
Yeah, there shouldn't be no griping. I mean, this is exactly what we've been wanting, so we need to support
I have not heard a single person. I've not seen a single review. I've not seen even the trash posters out there. I don't think I've seen anybody attempt to have a negative word about any of this stuff.
Do y'all look at the Comic Geeks app? You ever heard of that? There's an app called Comic Geeks app, and you can get on there and you can read reviews and leave reviews and look at all of what's coming out next week. You can go way out and see what's coming out. But the reviews for Geiger, 174 out of 180 liked it for a 97% approval rate. And that's the highest I've ever seen on there.
Wow.
Red Coat was 179 out of 191 for a 94 approval rate. And then Rook was 180 out of 182 for a 99% approval
rate. Ghost Machine came in strong.
I've never seen a 99% approval rate on a book.
Yeah, I really hope that the team over at Ghost Machine checks out, what's that place called?
It is called Comic Geek app.
Hope they check that out and source some of that and start posting some of those reviews. That's huge. Huge.
Like, that's what Comic Geek app looks like.
See what that is. Oh, League of Comic Geeks.
And you see that middle line right there where it says right now it's at 196 out of 199 liked it for an average.
That looks a lot like League of Comic Geeks.
Well, only thing I know is whenever
I'm pulling it. I want that app.
Yeah. Let me show you this real quick. Where is my app at? Yeah, it just says Comic Geeks on my little app here. So
yeah, with the little short box.
Yeah.
That's the League of Comic Geek app.
So 99 cents.
I didn't know I had no clue they had an app.
Yeah. I read all the reviews on there and check out everything. That's where I get all my information from.
So not long ago I set up an actual account on, because like when I have like these little in videos, whenever I pull up little images of comics or anything over on the side there, I just pull them off that website on my computer. It's a fantastic website. I do know you're talking about how you can see the star rating and stuff, and there's community boards where you can talk and everything. I haven't dove into a lot of that, but Ryan, who used to co-host with us way back in the day before they had their kid and all that stuff, he would do all that, review every book he read on there and track it, and he'd be able to pull up his pull list for the week just with the title and his personal star rating. It was super cool, but I'm not as technically organized as Ryan is.
Yeah, have 180. I have 182 though. It's amazing. 99% approval rate.
I have already downloaded it. By the time you were talking, I've already downloaded it.
Yeah,
I can't imagine who it was. The two people, like, it has to be like there's some angry people somewhere,
or they hit the wrong button by mistake.
Yeah. We'll say hey to some of the people in the chat. We'll get rocking and rolling. Of course, Las Crucius is up in here. Entropy and Comicx. ABX is here. Dr. Von Hoot, evening to you. Lurking without the chat active mostly. Let's go, Ghost Machine. That's right. Let's go. What is going on? Meatwad number 1. Good to see you. Ben Parker, what's up? I just let y'all know I'll be starting in a few minutes. My kids just called. Monkey and Finn are staying with the grandparents through the week since it's Masters Week, and Finn called me right at 8:30, and yeah, that was more important than answering. He was calling to tell me that they have a surprise for me, but they couldn't tell me what it is. What is going on, Pops? Trev, good to see you in here tonight. And just as a reminder, I see a lot of channel members in here. We will be drawing for the Legion loot toward the end of the stream. We're not going to be going too long tonight, for sure not, because I've got to get to bed at a semi-decent time frame. Hello to Durs and Jeremy and Cliff and everybody else. 21. Sorry if I missed you, but I didn't. All right. I apologize. I don't want to lie to you. I'm not sorry, but I apologize. So I'll make sure I at least get everybody highlighted. T-Dubs, good to see you. All right. I'm just going to hide it. There's too many people. I'm sorry. I appreciate every one of you, but I don't want to waste your time just saying hey to everyone. So I'm going to hey, everyone. Be sure to say hey to everyone besides you in the chat as well. There's League of Comic Geek on Android is awesome. I track my collection with it.
There you go.
Tai said I watched the Ghost Machine panel interview last night, and it was super interesting despite Paul being there.
Nice.
Tyler's such a savage. And for what he's talking about is Paul and myself had Jeff Johns, Jason Fabak, and Brian Hitch on the channel this past Tuesday for a live conversation with the Ghost Machine crew. It was fantastic. It was the highlight of my twilight, and it's all downhill from here. If y'all missed that, be sure to go back and check that out as well. But man, I don't even know where these books I'm giving away are. I'll find them later. That's another thing. If you still have time, check the community tab. I decided to do like a you choose it kind of thing. I took 2 X-Men keys, the first appearance of Bishop and the first appearance of Jubilee, and I let the audience decide which one of those 2 books will be added to the Legion Loot prize pack tonight. And if you just go to my regular YouTube page and scroll over through the tabs, you'll see one that says community, and then just scroll down and you can see where you can vote for which one you want added. I'll check which one won when we get ready to do the giveaway and throw it in at the last minute. So yeah. So let's dive into it. Ghost Machine, that's big deal this week. Jeff Johns, creator-owned company where he's went and scouted all kinds of talent from everywhere. Had their big launch day with 3 brand new number 1s, 2 of which are brand new books altogether. You had Geiger that switched to ongoing, Red Coat, which is a brand new title altogether, and Rook all dropped this past week. What was it, $3.99, and 2 of those titles were 48-page books on top of that.
Yeah.
Like they mentioned, it was absolute quality across the board, and on top of that, it was an affordable price point, and it blew everyone away. But where do you stand? What we have done this already myself. My pecking order with Ghost Machine is a fun starting point. So for me, Red Coat was my personal favorite read, and then for this week, Rook Exodus number 1, and then Geiger number 1 would be like from first to third, and all 3 I loved. But that would be my pecking order. What say you, Paul?
Yeah, I think we've said this on other places too, and it actually will be on my channel tomorrow. But I would say I had to distinguish between the story and the art, and Red Coat was my favorite story, but I think Rook was my favorite art of the 3, with Geiger a close second on all of these. It's kind of like trying to choose between your children in some ways, although they're obviously not my children. But yeah, I would say because they don't call me at 8:30 like some people, some children do. Yeah. So yeah, it was. So Rook was my favorite story. Red Coat was my favorite story, and Rook was my favorite art.
Nope.
Well, I got different categories for everything. I've broke it down 3 or 4 different ways, but for story, my favorite was Rook. Rook was amazing. And then second, Geiger. Geiger's always solid, all the way back to the Mad Ghost days. And I know what I'm getting out of that. And then Redcoat. Redcoat to me, you know, you got to like history, and it's a little bit comedic. You know what I mean? So if you like comedy, I thought the Redcoat was good, but it was my last choice. But it was still good, really good. So,
what are the other ways you decided to? What are some of the other ways you broke it down? You got me curious.
Art. I thought, you know, Faybuck. I mean, you can't beat Jason Faybuck's artwork, and Gary Frank on Geiger's solid. Whenever Brian Hitch's number 3, you know it's a good list. But I thought Redcoat was third in art also.
Paul, they're coming after you tonight, man.
No love tonight. Absolutely no love tonight.
Man.
It's okay.
We had Digger Jim's order, and everyone drop your order in the chat. Let's hear it. So he had Rook, Redcoat, Geiger.
I had Rook, Geiger, Redcoat.
And T-Dubs had Redcoat, Rook, Geiger. And Cliff just says Rook, 3 hearts. There you go.
Yeah.
I have Comic Issue says I haven't read Rook yet. My LCS was out by the time I got there, and I'm sorry that they were out, but I'm excited to hear that because haven't these been selling out? Paul's in the chat. Paul, can you confirm if these things have sold out at the distributor level yet? I've seen Paul in here earlier. ABX is in the chat. If you can't, no worries. But if that's something easy to do, let us know. I like Geiger, but it needs to start going somewhere. Yeah, I feel like it did. Like that's literally what the first issue was about. Like, hey, we gotta start going somewhere. Let's go this way. And they're being followed on top of that. But for me, it was like my hype level for Redcoat was so high because of that 80-page giant. Like I was fascinated right off the bat because you know we've been introduced to the world already, and that was the anomaly. Like that was the first time we had the timeline. We knew there's so much more to this, and that was the first time they took us anywhere else on the timeline. And it was a history setting kind of thing, like you mentioned, and I love that kind of stuff. So I've been waiting to explore it, and finally got there.
Yeah, I love the church scene.
And like you said, it was pretty comical. It was pretty comical too. I like that aspect of it. Set it apart.
Yeah, the church scene. Do you like that where he's hiding up in the rafters?
Yeah,
he's got that Jack Sparrow vibe to him, like where he's falling upward. You know, he fumbled his way into immortality.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pops.
He seems like a goofball.
What got me was really the opening, how he's speaking so highly of the founding fathers and how they're so honorable and so brave. And you turn the page and it simply says, "That's not me." And he's running from a battalion.
Yeah.
But do you catch you caught the Easter eggs in there, like when he was when we first catch up to him after the little origin explanation, we find him in like a keep, an inn, with the people coming to get revenge for their cousin that he killed, which was another funny point. He's lived so long that he survived someone coming for revenge because he killed their father, their brother, their neighbor. Now they're on to their third cousin kind of thing. But when he jumps out the window to escape them, the road that he lands on was Hyde Street.
Yeah, that's the little gold plaque on the wall.
Yeah. And well, even said
they've done a lot of that. Even if you go back to the Ghost Machine #1 special, if you're looking at the Rockefellers when they go to the movies, it's Junkyard Joe that's playing on the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're having a lot of fun with this. And that was a point in the interview that I thought was mad interesting too, because I brought that up without spoiling anything. That's what I was referring to, how I could tell that they were having a lot of fun because they were Easter egging these books with other things. And John's pointed out that I wouldn't call them Easter eggs because they're definitely there with a purpose.
Well, it goes all the way back to the Mad Ghost Geiger, where you could see Junkyard Joe, the comic strip laying around.
Yep.
Yeah, the back cover even of Geiger 1 introduced us to Junkyard Joe. And then, like you said, the strip is just everywhere. Man, I can't wait to see where it goes. We are Legion. What is going on? Circumstances. Let's kick it over to Rook. That was the big. So for this week, Rook was kind of like what Redcoat was for the 80-page giant. It was a brand new world, brand new introduction. So that's #1 on your list. Like, tell us about what got it there for you.
It reminded me of a lot of stuff I grew up with. I am a big, I love. You remember Mask, the toys,
mm-hmm.
and the trucks. And then it also reminds me of Mad Max. So, it's like combining both worlds. I think it's perfect for animation. I think it's perfect for a toy line. The thing that nobody's talking about that I'm pretty much amazed by, that is just a little bitty thing he talked about in there, but he's talking about the helmets could go out in like a month and the animals turn on them. Mm-hmm. We don't know if the helmets are going to go out. I love the whole Warden thing about how he was a farmer and now he's a scavenger, just like the Crow. He's looking for parts for the ships. I loved watching him go through all the hotels and finding liquor and things, supplies to survive on. It's just
that had a very I Am Legend feel to it, going door by door, marking it.
Yeah, the door markings. I think Swine might be dead already. I don't know.
Me and Paul were talking about like, yo, for real, we don't even get a full issue with this guy.
Well, I mean, I think the first one we read, kind of makes you start liking Swine, and you look at them like they're a team. And what's going to make you hate Upshaw more than anything if he just killed off Swine right off the bat?
Just like that.
That determined he is number one villain,
And if you think about it, like the way that, like the whole hindsight being 2020, they mentioned that they kind of just threw him together and ended up liking him just from just spitballing back and forth. So maybe that character was hyperly overdeveloped because they had fun doing it versus he serves a long-term purpose,
Yeah.
And if they nobody's safe in that world. Like you mentioned, the masks going out, the world trying to kill you, the limited window they have, like the stakes in that book felt so high. I was the least excited for that one. I don't know why, nothing against it. It just, with so many titles coming, especially with the sampler they gave us, there was a lot to look forward to. And that one really just didn't grab me by the goat in that sampler. But then when I get halfway through this book, I literally pause. I'm like, bro, this is Jeff Johns. Why did I should have known, what I mean? Should have known. And now here I am, like, over analyzing it, trying to find ways to rationalize this being somewhere on the unnamed timeline and just quietly trying to sneak around without the readers knowing.
Yeah, because he talks about even the height of the water. He can see a difference in a day.
Yeah.
Because the water's, But, yeah, I don't know if Swine's going to survive. I think it might just be Direwolf and, Rook for it's over with.
Yeah, whether Ursa the big villain.
Yeah, Direwolf will return on the next issue. I'm sure she'll be the number one appearance.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the Ghost Machine #1 story, they tease the War of the Wardens, so it's got something big coming.
Yeah,
her design is so amazing too. I like the staff with the spear fastened to it, and just the design of the Warden masks is just, there's just something about it. You look at it, and you're like, that's cool. I want to see more.
Wouldn't they be great toys though?
Yeah, and there's so many, that we've only seen 4 of these so far, and there's how many? There's 10 of these just on this page alone. So
are you able to identify some more of the animals on there? Is that like a deer?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a deer or an elk or something.
That one looks like an insect in the middle on the left.
It looks like a ram down here.
Yep.
An insect. Yeah, that's an insect over there.
There's Direwolf up there. So
Yep. So like I said, we've only seen 4 so far. So there's still a lot that we have to see.
Format wise, I would not mind seeing like every issue finding a way to squeeze in that like 2-page splash that takes us back to Earth with kind of that gets our characters in with the corporation, or at least in the job as being a warden, how we got Rooks in this one. And it didn't feel like it was forced in there. It felt like a natural flow into that flashback, and it legitimately didn't take away from the tone of the story. It immediately added depth to our character. I found myself like excited just for them to take their masks off to see their face. And I didn't expect to see that. And they gave us Rook's face in this one, which I thought was a cool little play. Now I want to see what all of them look like, like it reminds me of like the Max. Like, I wonder what he looks like under there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so many different directions that comic book could go. I mean, it's definitely like we talked about before, with it being called 2 things, with it being Rook Exodus, they could just, Exodus is the world. If it blows up and he gets off on a ship, there could be a Rook something else next.
Yeah, or Volume 2 could be a Swine Exodus and ends with his head getting crushed.
Urshaw Exodus,
Right. Or Exodus is the name of the planet, but it also is, Exodus has this historical thing of leaving something as well. So is it does he finally get off the planet and then we're left here to go on to the next?
Yeah,
Does another Rook take over?
I was joking with Haven's Comics this past Thursday. I told him Volume 2 is going to be called Rook Leviticus.
I'm interested in seeing what kind of powers Rook really has, though. I mean, they got attacked by that bear at the very beginning. It pecked out that bear's eyes, and Rooks did. But I really don't see anything, besides the birds that he can do. I mean, he don't have strength. He can't fly. We saw him fall. So I don't know what he's really capable of doing.
And that's an interesting part about this Ghost Machine universe. They don't want to do superheroes. There's no traditional superheroes whatsoever in this world. I think Geiger is the only thing we've seen with abilities, which is just those radioactive abilities, which is really a curse. It's a problem. Which thanks to Ground Zero, we kind of got an idea of why he has the staffs and what kind of purpose they serve to deactivate him, to take away some of the emissions. But now we have the introduction of Redcoat, who and magic into the unnamed timeline. And another thing that's kind of interesting, because it's all set off by the unknown war when you get over there with that stuff, which we know zero about, literally zero, other than the name of it. We really don't have a foothold on when it started, why it started, who set it off, who was involved in it. We just know it goes back to at least 1776. But being that we're introduced to the earliest part of the timeline, and the founding fathers already have access via their secret society to the dark arts, that just pushed the unseen timeline farther back than we're aware of. So we keep getting more questions and answers, and that makes it even more exciting for me.
Yeah. Right. And if you read the Who's Who pages for the Redcoat too, they kind of alludes to the fact that Simon Pure may have more powers than just being able to come back from the dead that he doesn't know about.
Yeah, I want to see what he can do, because he's really not shown a lot either.
Right. Yo, that was I absolutely love that part where it was talking about how when he's kind of explaining how I revive and it's not always the same. Sometimes I come back instantly, sometimes it's hours, sometimes it stays. The first time I came back from the dead, I woke up in my coffin and immediately died again from a panic attack. I'm like, yes.
I love whenever you open up the Ghost Machine books and they have like that one page. It looks like the back of the G.I. Joe cards where it tells you all about them. And
the who's.
Yeah, and if he was reading the Redcoat when it talks about how he's an excellent marksman, but he's done it for so many years is the only reason he's good at it. But I want to see how good of a sniper he is and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, according to the timeline, Junkyard Joe is 1972, the end of the Vietnam War.
And Mark, I know you love Junkyard Joe. I love the first issue a lot because I like the Vietnam.
Oh, that's what did it. That's what did it. I teared up reading that. Like, no joke. That book got my eyes watery. And then what just really did it in is when it became even more real, because that's real events. Like, a lot of this stuff dabbles in like real history stuff.
Yeah.
And it showed you the horror of the stuff. And then you turn the page and you see that Jeff Johns and Gary Frank went out of their way to make sure that this book's making money for real life veterans. I'm like,
yeah.
Jesus.
I wish it would have stayed a little bit longer in the Vietnam War. I love that first issue.
Well, Junkyard Joe is going to come back. If you read the solicitations for issue number 3, Junkyard Joe is coming back in Geiger number 3. So we might still get a chance to go back and see some more
Vietnam stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Vietnam version better than I did the rest of it. To me, kind of reminded me of remember what was that movie out in the 80s or 90s that Johnny Five Alive?
Oh, short circuit.
Yeah, that's what it kind of reminded me of, because they're trying to find him and kill him, and the government's after him. But I liked it better when he was in Vietnam. So,
yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I loved every bit of it. But that was super interesting how they didn't know it was him, and how quick they took him on. And it was absolutely heartbreaking how fast they all went. But when Joe decided like there's no winners here like that, dude, I broke like a little piece of me, like, God died for that robot. I'm like, dude, that's just horrible.
Yeah,
but I'm pumped to see him come back. I'm very.
If you go back and look at Geiger now, it's totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah,
Geiger Volume 1. I pointed that out as soon as I finished Junkyard Joe. I'm like, wait a minute. It like just clicked one day. I'm like, wait a freaking minute. I went back and looked at Geiger issue number 6 from Volume 1 when he defeated Joe in the fight, and as Joe's shutting down, you get one panel on the bottom left side of the page. It just flashes to this old black dude, and then you don't have a clue who it is. You're like, what was that? Was that a misprint? Was that a miss panel? What is that? But fast forward a year and a half later, when you read Junkyard Joe, you find out that that's Joe's like truest creator kind of thing. That's the one who's kept him immortal through his cartoons and who Joe came back to after he escaped.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reason I ask, Boilerplate is a fictional robot which would have existed in the Victorian era and early 20th century. It was created in 2000 by Portland, Oregon, USA artist Paul G. Word. Originally intended for comics, the character became known via a Fox historical website created by G. Word and has since appeared in other media.
If you were a Star Trek fan, you would know that that's pronounced Guinan.
Okay.
Because that's the role that Whoopi Goldberg played in Star Trek: The Next Generation, and that's the way she spelled it.
Whoopi Goldberg
in Star Trek: The Next Generation, she played Guinan. That's for aggressively relaxing. He's in the queue.
Okay.
I got a question for y'all. I was thinking about this today. You know, Deadpool came out in 91.
Yeah.
And then Spawn came out in 92. Have we had anybody like Geiger since then? I mean, this is original character. We ain't had a good character come out like 30 years. Nope. That's original. I mean, Miles Morales and them are just Spider-Man knockoffs, but I can't think of any original character that came out as big as Geiger in the last 30 years.
No, there can't be. I'm trying to think of independent ones that have kind of popped. You know, you had the super massive universe or whatever.
Yeah.
What was it called? Rogue, and what was the Power Ranger knockoff? God. Radiant Black. That's right. Like that was literally just a Power Ranger knockoff. And it was done by the Power Ranger writer that moved over and did that after he left Power Rangers even. But
Kyle Higgins, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he does he's a good writer, but as a diehard Power Ranger fan who reads Power Rangers and all that, I'm just like, dude, this is kind of sad because he did a self-insert in volume 1 of the struggling writer who's not getting to do what he wants, and you even see a panel where they're doodling and he doodled the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger logo. So you just know, like, he's like, we get it, you're broke and you didn't get to do your Power Ranger stuff and it went different direction and now you're doing this. So like I don't want your sad story. I want a comic book.
I wouldn't mind one day seeing a Geiger Spawn, you know, or something like that. You know, I think Geiger's around for good.
Remember back in the 90s, they would do those every now and then. The image characters aren't connected, but they would pull them together for just fun little events and stuff.
Well, what was that one they had not too long ago where they had that dome over Denver?
Oh, yeah. That was fun. Donnie Cates did that. I really enjoyed that crossover.
Yeah, and he had all kinds of characters in there. Mm-hmm. You know, it'd be nice to maybe see Redcoat in there. And,
the last time Image Comics tried to do Image Comics tried to do a crossover, it was supposed to be like 6 issues, and they've only put out 2 so far, right? But that was also because they were trying to get every creator to do their own art, you know. And it was like that was just
Skybound X. What was that?
No, it was Image Unleashed or something like that, or Image United, I think it was called, or something like
that. When it comes down to it, I think Taylor hit the nail on the head, knowing that Jeff Johns is like a diehard DC fanboy,
right?
Since he was a kid, I think Joe's biggest inspiration had to be G.I. Robot.
Yeah, it looks like him on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
If you see all the mode issues.
Image characters were up each other's butts in the beginning. That would be dope. Don't forget original character Adam Link, Robot. Yeah, I do remember that. That was a good book. Pops let me borrow his copy, read it, and then my dog Diego chewed it up before I could get it back to Pops. I miss Diego. RIP that dog.
Plus, I think Ghost Machine's doing it right with all 3 of them, because Rook to me seems like the greatest. I mean, Rook to me seems like the best toy line animation. Geiger seems like the best superhero. Redcoat seems like a Netflix show. I mean, Redcoat to me seems like you could do so much with it going back in time. You could have multiple years of Redcoat. So
yeah, and you talked to them about the deal with Paramount, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, I talked to him about like how Geiger is set to film at the end of this year, beginning of next year. I brought that up to him, how I caught the proof of concept footage in their original promo. Like, it didn't slip past me. And he said, delayed for strike. It's all set to start filming at the end of this year, beginning of next year at the latest. And I pointed out, like, what a unique opportunity you have. Like, you don't necessarily have to do Geiger season 1, Geiger season 2, then spin off to Redcoat season. You can literally do like Ghost Machine season 1, title Geiger, Ghost Machine season 2, title Redcoat. You know, you can like switch it up, like American Horror Story, how you have like a completely different story altogether with each season kind of thing. They could do that if they wanted to, but they
Unknown War timeline or whatever.
Yeah, just switch it up.
Is it animation or what is it?
No, it's live action. I actually have I took the clip of the proof of concept and I put it in. That's slowed down because it was really that quick in their little clip. But I've had that in there for a long time. But it's
see, I love the Oregon people on there, and they didn't use the Oregon people enough. But the mutated people out in the desert that were just
issue 3, yeah. I remember that so vividly because when issue 3 came out, I was sitting at my old house on my 1960s Lazy Boy that was my great grandfather's, rocking and reading it with Finn in my lap, looking at the pictures, and Kyle walks by and looks down. It's like, what are you showing him?
Yeah, because
those are pretty violent issue.
You ever seen The Hills Have Eyes?
Oh yeah,
that's what it reminds me of. And I wish they would have I could have been out there for a couple issues and loved that, But I wanted more of that, and I wanted more of the Vegas mob scene people. They're leaving Vegas too early, I think, because there was also other bosses besides, just the prince that I would like to see more of.
Yeah, we saw more of them in the 80-page giant. Granted, it was kind of like back in the past, but yeah, you had Milky Way, who was the Disco Queen, Goldbeard, Safari Bob,
yep,
and Bonnie Borden. Yeah, they showed us a lot of them in the 80-page giant.
Yeah,
but we definitely didn't get to see them like in real time action as much.
And the Origin of Arnie's in there too, ain't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a lot in the world, but I think that also again talks to the strength of it, that it's a very flushed out, well thought out, well developed universe where nothing seems throwaway. It all seems like it belongs. It isn't like we read volume 1 and we didn't think about all those other characters because they didn't matter. Like they didn't matter, but we're still thinking about them. We're still curious about them because that's just the difference in quality and effort they're putting into these.
I kind of thought maybe Jeff Johns. I thought Jeff Johns might have switched directions because it looked like he made that map of Vegas for a reason with all the different bosses and everything. I thought we'd get to see more of that, but who knows?
He did, and one of the things that I think I would think would help a writer, but maybe not, because he knows how it ends, too. So it can be easier a lot of times if you know where you started and you know how it ends, and how you get to there. That's the fun part. That's where you can take the little detours if you want to, and as long as you still keep intact the ending that you originally envisioned.
That's a good point because even then, the what's the character's name who went to pretty much hire Geiger and is promising him that there's another glowing man out there.
Yeah, the Atomic Knight.
Yeah,
the Atomic Knight. I forget his name. I've already forgot his name. He's apparently an important character for this arc, but he comes from the Vegas boss scene, and we now know that there's this character following them. They promised to have the Who's Who page for him in issue number 2, but now we have this secretive character following him.
He's the electrician.
Yeah,
the guy that kills the flower at the end.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm wondering is that his name?
Yeah. It's spelled a little different, but yeah, it's an electrician.
Is it spelled with a K?
I don't think so. I remember seeing it though. I've read other things on it, but yeah, if you read some of the previews for some of the next coming up books, issue 2 talks about the electrician.
Spoilers, and I'll have none of it. I'm just kidding. But
I have to read it as soon as it comes out.
I wonder if he's tied to them, like if he's hired and sent, because typically, classically speaking, the muscles, the big bads, they're not like the brains of the operation, and these comics have a real classic, fun comic book feel to them in that sense. They have the tropes that you would expect in comics that you look forward to that makes trying to predict them get exciting. And then when your predictions are subverted to something better than you imagine, makes it even more exciting along the way. But I wonder if he's hired by the new boss of Vegas because the king definitely is no longer in good standing there.
Yeah. You wonder who's running all that because it looked like the mom was back in charge at the end of the last thing it showed. But
it would be cool to get so release schedule wise, there's a book coming out in July, if I'm not mistaken, a one shot. Now I gotta look. So we're getting the October is the second wave.
Right.
Yeah. Hyde Street.
Yeah, Hyde Street. And is it Solus and Devour? Is it Hyde Street, Rockefellers, and
I heard Hyde Street, Rockefellers, and whatever the other
Halo
two.
and Hornsby, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. If I can find this article that I found. How do you look it up? Because I had heard something about it. Ghost Machine plan for 2024. Family Odyssey series to launch November 2024. There, yeah. So those are coming. Where's the thing? And I read this one shot was coming in April. It had something winter something in the title. Something winter. I don't know if I'll be able to find it now. There's so many articles now.
The Knight's name's Nate.
Nate, that's it. Nate the Knight. Yeah. Dude, I don't know where that article is. I looked it up and saw it last Thursday.
On the timeline, I'm really excited about the one called Monster.
Did you make all the connections to that already?
I've seen him on the cover. On the connecting cover, there's a big monster with like a bag over his head.
Yeah, that's a hood. You can see it's clearly Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So what I'm reading is that October is Hyde Street, Solus, and Devour.
Yeah,
and then November is the Family Odyssey titles.
That's what I was thinking.
Hyde Street. Oh, sorry, no, Hyde Street is October.
So if you look in the Ghost Machine #1 to the Hyde Street story, you see the monster. You see him.
Yeah, he looks awesome.
It looks super awesome. He's confirmed on the Ivan Reis cover with a better shot of him and everything. But this is connecting the unnamed to Hyde Street, because if you look in Hyde Street on here, this is in Hyde Street, like in the actual story. He's right there also. Confirming that he is the monster. Make a monster.
I'd love to see that.
Every single one of those ads is going to play into Hyde Street at some point. And I mean, they already did the thing with the glasses. They've already done a couple of the things already, even just so short.
So I'm excited about all of it. I'm going to live in this world. I don't know about Halo and Hornsby, but I'll do everything else.
So that one didn't do it for me. What year does it say the monster was made? Is it 1818 on the timeline? I just looked up. Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein in 1818, or put Frankenstein out in 1818.
Let's see.
In 1944, it says the monster is made, according to the timeline.
Yeah.
That's definitely not the year that Frankenstein was made.
Right.
And there's a first ghost too. I don't know what that is.
First ghost has to do with the president, in the White House, according to the Who's Who page from the Ghost Machine 1.
Yeah.
President Nash, I think was her name, right?
Yeah, I think that's all we got. This lady right here in Ghost Machine #1. It just says her first appearance is in First Ghost #1. No clue on anything on that.
If they bring all them guys together and make a team out of them, it would be weird, because he couldn't be in the future because you've already killed Junkyard Joe.
See, I still think, and I brought this up, but you gotta let all the titles, gestate and get their footing. But I still think that somewhere we're gonna get a huge Unknown War miniseries that's gonna cross over all these people at some point. But it's gonna be down the road. It's not gonna be right away. But I think that again plays right into Jeff's wheelhouse. I think when he does things like that as well.
Yeah, you wonder how he's going to be able to do this and other things like with DC and stuff.
Easy, he's not.
Yeah.
Like straight, let's be straight up. He's not. JSA has already been delayed. The Legion spinoff ain't happening. Like, they need to even stuff that Jeff Johns isn't doing that other Ghost Machine creators are on. There's the Black Label title, Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor, that Brian Hitch is drawing and Mark Waid is writing. We had one issue come out 3 months ago. Haven't seen a second one. So they need to call it like it is. Don't leave the readers hanging, and give Jeremy Adams the JSA so that we can be happy on both fronts. Like, if they don't give Jeremy Adams the JSA, I don't know what we're doing with our lives. What is going on, Coco? Well, hope you're doing good, John. Good to see you, my dude.
I could see him doing the Legion of Superheroes. I think we've mentioned this before. I could see him doing the Legion of Superheroes instead, because Legion of Superheroes was supposed to come out of the Justice Society of America title that Jeff Johns is doing.
Yeah, we're gonna get Johns' conclusion to JSA. Right. It's so close to the end already. We're already 9 issues in. We only need 3 more. But I don't want to see it end. Is my thing. Right. I'd rather, like, that you took Jeremy Adams off Flash. You put him on a Flash miniseries that has only 1 more issue. He's absolutely crushing it with the Green Lantern proper title. Like, it feels like the coolest thing is like Jeremy Adams' real shift to comic books. He comes from animated movie script writing, like a lot of the great DC animated movies you love, or the Mortal Kombat animated. That's all Jeremy Adams, television writing, all kinds of stuff. He comes over and he makes everyone love the Flash comics. And on top of that, they do Flashpoint Beyond miniseries with Jeremy Adams, Jeff John, and Tim Sheridan all together. Well, fast forward to now, Tim Sheridan is doing amazing things with the Alan Scott miniseries. Jeremy Adams is doing amazing things with Green Lantern ongoing and the Jay Garrick miniseries. Like, you just had him train under Jeff Johns. He brought Hal Jordan run back to the Jeff John vibes already, like with what he's doing. Like, give this man JSA. He's clearly got the passion. You can check out his social media. He's like a kid in a candy store every day, running around with his family, opening up comic books and just smiling from ear to ear whenever you see him. Like, that's the guy you want writing your books. Right. The guy who loves comics like he's a kid still, just like comic fans do, like, that's the guy.
Let me ask you, Mark. Me and Paul was talking while you was on the phone. I was laying in bed thinking about this, and it kind of bothered me in some ways because I'm a DC guy too. And I think if DC would have played their cards right, Rook and Geiger could have been DC labels. And that's kind of makes me sad being a DC guy.
Well, you're a Tynan fan once upon a moon as well. And do you remember that Tynan was doing all the indie stuff? And there's that weird era like 2 years ago where he was exploding, and DC didn't want to lose him. So they gave him Nice House on the Lake as a creator-owned title under DC.
Yeah.
So they definitely could have done these. And I don't think I'd want to see these as DC characters, but if DC had some kind of creator-owned program.
Yeah, if they could do, like they did with Vertigo, where they create, where the contracts say you get to keep your own, they
Ghost
just
Machine under DC.
They just do the imprinting like Image does. The problem is that, and what I said to Dope was that it's the bigger the company, the less likely they are to give any freedom to anybody.
Yeah, it becomes a legal team nightmare. I'm sure when you're that big, when you're that level of being an entity, it just, how hard it is, like the bureaucratic arm of anything these days. Like, just try to call your local government for anything, even to get information on a driver's license, like much less get anything done. I'm sure it's a lot the same way. If people who worked at DC wanted to do that, I'm sure lawyers, unnecessary team over here would tell you to go talk to the unnecessary group of people over here. They would tell you that they don't know. I'm sure that's just the way stuff works, unfortunately. So it would have been a huge win for him, that's for sure, because this has got traction. It has massive traction.
25 years from now, we could have seen like Redcoat and the Suicide Squad.
Bro, that would have been amazing. That would have been put a bomb in my head. I don't care. And then the trick is to get a new bomb in his head before he wakes up.
You'd had Amanda Waller trying to tell him, "Idiot, that way, idiot! You're running the wrong way."
Taylor says if DC had any sense, they bring back Vertigo. Rumor is that maybe by the end of this year or the beginning of next year, we may see Vertigo again.
Yeah, we finally got the Elseworld imprint back. Like, I didn't stop calling stuff Elseworld. What? How else you? Like the explanation is in the imprint. Like, oh, I don't understand what's happening here. It's Elseworld.
Right.
Oh, people who don't even know what that means understand what you're saying. Oh, it's on a different world. Got it. Like, but I'm glad we're getting that imprint back because they kept creating Elseworld titles without the imprint, and it just left people wondering.
Yeah.
Very weird.
And DC doesn't own Image. Somebody asked, DC doesn't own Image, but each of the creators kind of had their own little imprint as well, like Top Cow and all those type of things, and all the stuff that Jim Lee owned went with him when he went to DC, but all the other Image stuff didn't. So.
Yeah.
I think it was Wildstorm. I think that was the Wildstorm imprint that they had. So went to DC.
And I was also sitting around thinking these books were so good. It's making me rethink my pull list and why I'm keep buying average books, because I mean, you're getting that kind of art, that kind of story, that kind of materials for that price point. Why am I paying $9 for a #1 Boom issue or $11.99 for a #1 foil Boom issue, whenever they can put this stuff out for $3.99 and it's a lot better? So I'm going to cut down some of the books out of my pull list, I believe, just because, I mean, I'm settling for okay books because I want something to read.
That was one of the first things I thought after this is all the books that, like, you read your stack of comics, you're like, that was pretty good. That was okay. That was good. I like this one. After reading these, like, especially getting 3 in 1 week after reading these back to back. Find me one person that didn't read me back to back, and I'll show you a liar. If you got more than just one Ghost Machine book, you read them back to back because you were that like excited.
I read Rook in the parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I literally went to my LCS when they showed up because, like, you can't buy stuff before street date. Remember that, kids. But I read them at the LCS, and after reading the 3 of them, it made me look at the books that I had there. I'm like, they're not that good.
Yeah,
they're not that good. They're literally not that good. So I don't see a single book that drops on a monthly basis that deserves a $5 price tag, except the ones that are giving us more pages. I'll give you that. More pages, more money. That makes sense. That doesn't mean they're always the same quality, but it completely took the way that I kind of mentally rate books as I read them, and everything downshifted. Downshifted. Like, I'm like, oh man, not like 100% of it. Like, you're not going to convince me that, like, Batman Dark Age or Superman Space Age or something like Dan Jurgens' Batman First Night isn't still a freaking 10 out of 10. Like, that's just a Green Lantern. Like, they're still up there. But, like, just the generic, I enjoyed that ones, I'm, like, questioning their existence. I'm like, why are you here?
Well, like Hulk's my favorite of all time.
See, I'm loving Hulk.
And like this last Hulk we got with Danny Earls on art, I'm like, yeah. After seeing everything in Ghost Machine, and then I went straight to Danny Earls, and I was like, this is awful. I mean, I love Nick Klein, but he's only been on 6 out of 11 issues now.
Yeah, they cornswoggled us. They get you with the solicitation. They get you all excited for a bang up creative team.
And they do the first arc, and then that's it.
Al Ewing did 50 issues and specials. Like, why are we, like, he did that with who was the Immortal Hulk interior artist guy that they canceled? Oh my God. But his art was perfect for Hulk. It absolutely crushed that series.
I mean, and DC does it too. Titans did it with Nicola Scott, first arc, and then she was gone.
It takes you out of the series, though, when you go from great Nick Klein artwork, and then he drops off for an arc, and then he comes back, and then he leaves, and he comes back.
Well, look at Superman proper, what they did to that. Right. We're going to give you Joshua Williamson, who's like, like if you could get him on a title right now with his creative pool, the big picture, you're like, yes, let's do Joshua Williamson. Who you got for the art?
Jamal.
We're giving you Jamal Campbell.
Right.
On interiors, what? And like, then you're reading like, yo, this is like a modern day animated series. Like, the colors, the style, it just fits. And then they're like, psych, gotcha.
First arc. Gone.
Yeah, just 6 issues done. It's
or
like
you get a crazy nice cover. And
they don't want to pay those prices. Yeah, Jamal Campbell's still doing covers. I don't know why they don't. It can't be a pay thing. Well, it probably can. Probably what it is.
Everybody tells me on my channel that Nick Klein is so great that he can't keep up and he's got deadlines. But as far as I know, that's the only thing he's drawing. And that's part of being a comic artist. You got to be able to meet deadlines. You know,
Rags Morales, one of the best interior artists in the modern age, can't do deadlines.
And if it's that bad, then I mean, if you remember when Wonder Woman Rebirth came out, they alternated issues with the artist. It was still I can't think of the artist, the writer now. He created he created the New Question, Renee Montoya. It's part of 52. Anyway, they had Liam Sharp on one issue, and then they had Nicola Scott on the other issue, and they alternated back and forth, going from the present to the past, from the present to the
Yeah.
past, and that's the way they kept them all on track. And they were able to do 12 issues. Again, they each did 6 issues, but you knew going into it what it was going to be, and they had huge artists on both of them.
That's what they're doing with the question right now in Detective Comics with Renee Montoya. For Detective with the Batman stuff over in the desert, Ricardo Federici's doing it, who's literally fine line penciling every single page, every single panel in real life, not in digital. And then you switch to Montoya and Gotham, and it changes art, which works good because it's 2 different stories, 2 different characters, 2 different settings. So it's great to switch arts because, you know, it's actually like keeping you locked into how you should be feeling in that claustrophobic, dirty, dark Gotham City, and then in this mystical desert with these crazy, trippy images and stuff. And just, I'm like, dude, wow, it worked out great.
Right. Taylor brings up a good point. The proof is going to be in the pudding, though, too, is can they not have delays going forward? And the other thing that I want to say is, too, is that one of the things that they're doing, although they all came out on the same day, the second issues are not coming out on the same week. So Gary, the Geiger is coming out one week. Then Redcoat is coming out the next week, and Jason Fabach's Ripper is coming out the third week. So Brian Hitch is really getting 5 weeks to do another issue. Fabach is getting 6 weeks to do another issue, and Gary Franklin in 4 weeks. But hopefully they're far enough ahead too, because they've had a lot of lead time. They've had a lot of runway to do this too.
Yeah, that's the big thing. They've had a ton of runway, because you got to keep in mind when they announced this, they didn't announce this to the public till NYCC.
Right.
At NYCC, they had so much stuff drawn already, so much so that they had banners, table toppers, splash page. They had so much stuff already done and produced all kinds of stuff for it, merch with images on it that have appeared in these books and stuff. So you can see then how far ahead they were because they've been working quietly. And despite, like, Ivan Reis was just announced for Ghost Machine. He was announced, and then a book with his art came out in it, like, really fast after that. Like, guess what? Ivan Reis will be there. Don't forget to pick this up next week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so these guys are contractually bound to certain things, but I'm sure that they're doing a lot of work in their free time.
Right. And think about all the stuff. I mean, we got 6 months until the next round comes. If they can't get 4 or 5 months ahead before the next round of new titles comes out, it's going to be, then they're doing something wrong. But I'm sure Jeff Johns and all of them are very aware of the fact that, the one thing that could kill them would be if they suddenly stop. Not stop being able to put out
Image
comics.
Was immediately stuck with delays back in the day. But I do want to point out the thing that leaves me the most hopeful. Like, if people are familiar with Jeff Johns, his personal attachment to the character Stargirl. Very personal attachments to the character Stargirl. Look at that TV show. There's a reason why it was so damn good. And if you didn't watch it, you wouldn't think it, but go watch it. It'll blow you away how good it is. When Jeff Johns started releasing the new Golden Age stuff, JSA was delayed and this and that. You know what wasn't delayed? What came out like clockwork and never missed a release date? The Stargirl miniseries.
Yep.
So I wonder how, if he has, like, this is his baby.
Right.
This is he started, like, it's not his now, it's his plus some, but he's at the foundation of this. So I wonder if that will help in that aspect too, like it has for Stargirl.
Right. Seems like he's doing 3 times the work.
Yeah, and they just also announced in the past month or so, and I'm sure he's been there before, but they hired Brian Cunningham as their editor-in-chief, who Brian Cunningham is one of the premier editors from DC Comics when he was there. So he was, so they got, it's not like they got some two-rate editor doing this either. They got a guy who's going to be on people and make sure that, they're meeting deadlines, I'm sure.
But, he's writing all 3 of them where he's got 3 different artists. So it seems like he's doing 3 times as much work a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's before he even starts doing Hyde Street too, because he's going to be writing Hyde Street too.
Yeah, he's in no danger, I don't think, because he's definitely a seasoned writer and carrying multiple titles. And at this point, he doesn't have to check in with other writers. Like, it's a fresh universe. There's some things lending to it. And in that second round is also when we start getting the other writers. We have all these artists on now, but Tomasi's there, Brad Meltzer's there. So we have other writers coming in.
And we haven't even heard what Brad Meltzer's doing yet.
No.
Can't wait to hear what that's going to be.
Yeah, and you think about Image, and I'm sure Ghost Machine's going to do the same thing. Image has $10 trades.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a lot better than Marvel and DC. So,
that's super cheap.
Yeah,
this one's way more than $10.
The cheapest you can get for a trade paperback is like $14.99 for a DC one.
Yeah, this one was $16.99.
Was that one?
Yeah. But dude, this stuff's never cheap for the Miller World stuff. It's all new edition printings and stuff.
Yeah, here's Geiger. It's $9.99.
Yeah, I got the Geiger and Junkyard Joe for the giveaway. Yeah, those were. So that's a good sign too, right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat what the whole Image, Ghost Machine umbrella is doing right now. So.
It's driving me crazy not being able to find this thing that I read about July.
I don't remember seeing anything about July.
I didn't either. And it got mentioned on Thursday because I was on a stream with Haven's Comic. They mentioned it. And I went and looked it up that night. And so I'm like, oh, well, we look at that. And it was called Winter something. And it makes me think that might have something to do with the Northerner Junkyard Joe, but I don't know.
Are you maybe you're thinking of the Dark Knights of Steel All Winter with Tom Taylor?
Nope, it was definitely a Ghost Machine thing.
Oh, okay.
It was like the Tales of the Unnamed or something.
I don't expect to ever get it, but if you ever have
Brad Meltzer's doing First Ghost. So in my search for this, there we go. Yeah, I'm reading Geiger and Redcoat are part of the unnamed genre characters whose adventures take place across the same shared secret historical timeline from 1776 through 25 years from now. Brad Meltzer's First Ghost, coming later this year, is also part of the unnamed artist to be announced and takes place in the present day. Junkyard Joe also will return. Rook Exodus, blah, 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 blah.
And Brad Meltzer loves history, absolutely loves history. He did a whole thing on the History Channel about all these, these mysteries throughout history, and like what's on the back of Mount Rushmore, and where there's secret cabals, and what's really going on in the Denver airport. He loves all those type of things.
Bro, the Denver airport's wild, my dude.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi has one about the Denver airport.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi has one about the Denver airport.
Yeah, a great episode about that. That was one of the ones that episode is the episode I would send to people for the longest time when I was telling them about it. I'm like, it's just fun. He covers any topic. Here's a really fun one. Those original paintings on the walls, like what is going on here? Now it's the crop circle episode. That was like the new defining episode for me with that show. It was just, that was wild. Thomas I like, but I actually bought Sinister Sons 1 and didn't chuckle once. Did he really write it? Again, I'm shocked that he started that Sinister Sons thing, given that he started that and then went Ghost Machine. Like, I don't know. So being behind on my reading, I finally read Junkyard Joe. What is next on the Ghost Machine list to read? From Junkyard Joe, they did Geiger Ground Zero, which is just a 2-issue kind of refresher pretty much, but it also introduces you to Nate the Knight, who's like going to be one of the main characters in volume 2. So there's that 2-issue Ground Zero, and then the books that came out this week.
What about the 80-page?
He just read Junkyard Joe. The 80-page came before that, didn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it did. I'm pretty sure it came out like hot on the heels of the conclusion of Junkyard Joe. But yeah.
Speaking of the 80-page, it had the origin of Barney in there, which is a 2-headed wolf. So if it ever crossed over with Rook, Dire Wolf would take Barney away from Geiger and use him against him.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. There's a lot of levels of this, but kicking it over, what did outside of the Ghost Machine stuff, did you pick up any reads this week?
Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad Kills Arkham Asylum 3. Got Superman 12, Hulk 10, Couple more, but I've already read them and put them up. I like Sam and Twitch, which is an Image comic. It's $2.99 for first issue.
Holy crap!
So yeah, and it's written by Todd McFarlane. So perfect.
That's funny. I saw Collecting with Durs, my buddy. He'll post his reads with like a 0 of 10 rating, and Sam and Twitch was like his most not favorite read out of the Spawn stuff ever so far that he's posted.
And it's my favorite because it has nothing to do with Spawn. And if it did have something to do with Spawn, I wouldn't like it as good. I've tried reading Spawn a couple times and didn't like it that much. But Sam and Twitch is more detective stories. Yeah. It's like Seven, if you ever watched that movie. It's dark, rainy, Gotham style.
I saw the art. The art was fantastic.
Yeah.
By the end of this year, though, I mean, if it hasn't already, Spawn's going to be like the Batman of Image Comics. Like every third book is going to be about a Spawn character. Or Star Spawn.
I got Hulk coming out again next week. That's two pretty close back to back, but Hulk's coming out next week.
Did Superman come? You mentioned Superman. Did that come out last week?
No, 2 weeks ago, but I picked it up out of my box last week.
All right. I know next week, this coming week, House of Brainiac, the Action Comics House of Brainiac starts.
Yeah. And we got a giant size Hulk coming up the week after that.
Yeah, this coming week is the finale to the Frozen Charlotte storyline that they're doing. Yeah. Hopefully they'll
then Nick Klein's back. Yeah, Nick Klein's back after that.
For how long though? Just for one issue? Like
probably one arc again. You know, he did the Ghost Rider arc.
God, it was Ghost Rider good. Now. God, that was so good.
Yeah,
the World War II dude. That was so awesome.
I'm a big Ghost Rider fan. And then I got the Batman coming next week. I love that.
Yeah, the first night
1939. One. Yeah,
that's the Dan Jurgen ones. I said it's a 10 out of 10.
I don't know what's going on with it, but when that last splash page where he's in the electric chair, it just hooked me. So, me
and Paul did a deep dive on that when it came out. It was so good.
Yeah, it's really good. And I'm a big horror guy, so Creature from the Black Lagoon comes out at the end of the month.
Now, is Tynan writing that one as well?
No, this one is Ron V. So Skybound, fantastic. Which is under the Image thing too. So you need to pick that up. It's 4 issues, just like the Dracula one.
Because Ron V went exclusive to DC, I thought.
He's writing it, so he might already wrote it, have it done, but it's only 4 issues.
And maybe it was only for a short time too, because his detective run is coming to an end in a few months too. So
I'm excited about all that. Ghost Rider, I don't know what's going on with it. It's the first time we're gonna have Ghost Rider as a villain, I guess. He's the Hood, so. Now Johnny Blaze is a normal man trying to stop the spirit of vengeance, so it's going to be interesting.
That first issue, with the first appearance of the new Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be excited about it. I'm trying to be nice about it, but they're making it hard because Benjamin Percy's writing it. I liked his last. What he's been doing with Ghost Rider a lot. Some issues are a little, but overall, it's great Ghost Rider stuff. And it had a lot of it has that Immortal Hulk feel where it's kind of episodic. Let's go here and deal with this issue, and then we'll travel. And I'm glad we're done with Italia War Road stuff. She was fun for a little while, but it seems like a little bit more than enough. But that first issue, it felt like it was such a waste of a first. We didn't get to anything that we wanted to see until the literal last page.
Yeah, exactly. And we knew that was coming. But he jumped in this, the spirit of vengeance jumped into a stripper's body, a methamphetamine, somebody, a dirty cop. Yeah.
Other superheroes. It literally just traveled around, which was kind of cool. It was a cool little gimmick for a page. It'd go by a playground and everyone's playing, and then the next panel, they're all just their heads are exploding with fire, then they're on the ground dead or exhausted. You don't know. That was cool, but they did that for the entire issue. Literally, the entire issue.
They just jump from person to person to person.
Like, dude, we get it. We did it.
The Benjamin Person run, I loved issue 4 where it had Ringmaster in there. I like a lot of C&D list villains and Ringmaster, Polka Dot Man, all these weird, characters like the Orb. You ever heard of the Orb?
Yeah, because of you.
But the Orb, all that kind of stuff I love. So Ringmaster, from Hulk 3 was his first appearance. So gotta love that. Yeah, he's in Hulk 3. So, but Ringmaster, I love all that kind of stuff. So I love
all the McFarlane books
his
because
diversity
I'm
too.
supporting high quality comics for $2.99.
Oh yeah, $2.99.
Yeah,
That'd be the price point.
I still stand by Todd McFarlane as a toy maker first, an artist second, and then a writer.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's probably a lot of different things in between number 2 and 3 on that list. I've never been like, oh man, I hope Todd McFarlane writes a comic. I've never thought that a day in my life.
Yeah,
I've read enough of his stuff that he has written to know that you're great at buying toys or making toys.
Right.
He
done a lot
revolutionized
for comics, you know.
Yes, he has. He's fantastic. Some that I read this week, Void Rivals, I just finished right before we started. The Energon universe is still rocking and rolling, firing off on all cylinders. I think this is like another great example of like a pocket universe under Image, under the Skybound imprint. We got introduced to the big bounty hunter in that last issue, and in this issue we get a huge revelation with the bounty hunter that it appears to be Solia's brother, that obviously was trained up to be this bounty hunter, so much so that it looks like he lost a lot of his own agency. Like he almost recognized her, and she makes a comment that like you wouldn't know me anymore, kind of thing. And they kind of just fight to get away from him. He was sent after him to kill him, and he catches up to him, and they completely recognize it. This is an unwinnable fight. All we can do is run for our lives and try to survive. And it was really fun. Batman 145. I'm not going to lie. This failsafe stuff is actually getting better. Like, I mean, it hasn't been bad. It hasn't been bad ever. But I've said it from day one when they introduced failsafe. Why are we doing failsafe? Why don't you just do a Mazo? We already have the unstoppable robot. Why don't you just do an Amazo story? And I kid you not. It might take a while to get there sometimes, guys, but we made it. Yes. So Failsafe knows what time it is. He's like, I gotta go get a bunch of Amazo robots so I can have like a team.
So we're gonna have Failsafe, Amanda Waller, and
Brainiac Queen.
Brainiac as your 3 big people for the big upcoming event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Slick think that Failsafe is going to try to get Damian Wayne's consciousness into a robot, and that's going to be ultimately what splits Damian from Failsafe. Because Damian's cool with his dad's personality being in Failsafe because he can go around and fight crime the way he likes to fight crime. But it's pretty fun. I'm digging it. I'm not going to lie. Still not Detective Comics, but it's definitely fun. Knowing that it's leading up to Absolute Power, I think gets me more excited because now I'm doing that thing that's fun to do and watching for little hints of the event because there are always hints of the event long before they get here. So we'll see where it goes. Paul, what's one that you enjoyed this week?
Really, Owen, I read the 3 Ghost Machine, and then I read the Suicide Squad Kills Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, that's one that I read.
Yeah, what y'all think of issue 3 of that? I haven't opened mine yet. I still have a stack of 2-read books over here that keeps getting bigger as the weeks go.
I was hoping for more villain against villain fighting instead of villain against security guard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's got some good stuff in it, but I mean overall if you're not reading it, you're not really missing anything because it's not going to impact the DC universe at all. It all has to do with the game. So
it's entertaining, but there's no depth to it. It's not nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like
Mad some fun stuff too. You had Victor Zsasz got his head eaten off by, was it Killer Croc or King Shark in issue 1?
King
so
Shark,
something like that.
Shark,
I don't play the video game, so I don't know who has to survive this comic and who's on the chopping block. That's always fun.
Killer Croc is in issue 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I was reading that Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad Dream Team. So
I like Dream Team. Dream Team was super solid. Issue 2 of that comes out next week. I think, and I just like the Suicide Squad. It's just that simple.
Well, I like that cliffhanger where it looks like Bizarro is going to,
he went nuts.
And I like the Suicide Squad principle too because I like all the C&D list villains, and that's where I learned about Polka Dot Man and stuff like that. So, I'm all for C&D list villains. So, and you can kill them off. I love watching like the first of the movies where like, you think this guy's gonna go far and he got shot on the beach and dead. It's like, well, he didn't make it near as far as I thought he was going to.
Yeah, the entire team. Yeah. I think we kind of expected that to a degree, but I like what they did with Michael Rooker's character Savat. Like, not only is the whole team going to die, like this dude's actually going to piss his pants and run. Like, yeah, that was great.
I like who's the character with the detached arms and went up and started slapping people on the beach?
TDK, the detachable kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, arms fall off, boy. But yeah, it was TDK, the detachable kid. Issue number 6, Robert Venditti's Superman 78, Volume 2, The Iron Curtain. That came to a close this week with a man. He just gets Superman, and not just that, he gets the Christopher Reeve Superman. It really transports you to it. Superman went to Russia to face off with this Metallo, which we called it from the solicitations. This looks like a Lex Luthor power suit, and it was stolen Lex Luthor tech, powered by kryptonite, piloted by the Russian army. And they wanted Superman on their own turf so that they can sway the public opinion to this invader, this American capitalist invader coming. And in the midst of Metallo trying to just beat him to death, while he's getting beat to death, he sees all these people that are collateral damage, and he's using all the strength he has in the moment to save them. As he's every time he saves somebody, it costs them another punch to the face, another kryptonite blast. But what's happening as a side effect is these people that have been lied to by this terrible government are seeing him for who he is. And by the time it gets down to it, you have like one of those like classic moments, where you want to get to him, you got to get through us kind of moment. And not just that, but in the realization of the population seeing Superman for who he is, it calmed Metallo down enough to see that he was lied to, that he was used as a weapon, and he was able to have the heroic end to his story, but he will not be returning for whatever. He will not be returning into anything. TDK was played by Nathan Fillion. Yep, that's right. What's going on, Space Case? But yeah, we're over an hour. Y'all got anything else y'all want to hit on tonight? Because we have the Legion Loot giveaway we're going to do. And I gotta go. Oh, King Kong: The Great War. Delayed. It is finally here. Beautiful Joe DeVito cover. Joe DeVito is the way to go with these. But this was fun. It's just World War II German U-boat crashed on Skull Island, fight for survival. Every issue they get a little bit deeper into the island, lose some life, and you're watching like the slow deterioration of your mental state as you try to survive. They thought if we could just get to the top of this mountain, we can be safe with heights and see where our options are. Little do they know that that's actually where Kong lives. And they've been killed by everything on the island, stalked by Kong the whole way. They make it to the top and they have their first face-off with him. More people lose their lives. And while they're up there, they're able to see that there's a civilization on the island. If we can make it there, we might survive. The final issue is them racing for the Iwi tribe. We'll see how that works out for them. And Kong hot on their heels. But yeah, it's fun. It's very R-rated. It's a rated teen plus, but it's mad violent, like super violent. He might be. Are we talking Action Comics or Superman? We've actually touched on we've touched on both and all three at this point. 78, Action, and Superman. Yeah. But what is going on, Bert? Glad to see you, my dude. All right. Found a short box of books for $10. Nice. That's a steal. As long as a third of them are readable, that was a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, y'all got anything else I want to touch on, hit on before we do this?
Covered it all. We talked hour and 20 minutes just about on 3 books, so that's pretty good.
I was going to talk about like the Christian Bale Frankenstein movie images that they posted. I had that lined up, but save that for another day.
Yeah. James Gunn said that all those rumors about Ultraman and Bizarro, that they're not true. There's rumors that David Corenswet was going to play Ultraman or play Bizarro.
Yeah. James Gunn confirmed that Lex Luthor is the big bad guy in this. Right. And like, why would y'all think that it's not Lex? Well, for one, we've done Lex 15 times, James. Give us Brainiac. Everyone wanted Brainiac forever.
Yeah.
Am I the only guy that loves the Chained? I love that new character so much. And
I liked his introduction. He came out like a big boy villain. They just shut him down too quick.
He looks like Nicolas Cage too.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, kind of.
He's got that little curly hair in the back, and that's stuffle. But I would love to see the Chained in a Superman book or a Superman movie.
Boom, Burke released his video haul from ABX. Much like Durs, Burke is also a mail-in subscriber for ABX. Mm-hmm. So if your comic shop has failed you, the link is in the description below. ABX Comics and Games. Got you covered. They are the community's comic shop.
Yes. Disney put off a whole bunch of movies to 2026.
Well, cross your fingers. Maybe they'll push them back to 2028.
Yeah. If you're looking for the Mandalorian,
we almost went the whole show without talking about the Girl Surfer.
That's right.
And we're going to go the whole show without talking about the Girl Surfer. What about the Mandalorian?
Mandalorian and Grogu, like November or something of 2026. It's more than 2 years away.
Canceled. Not happening. What else we got?
Think so?
Oh, yeah. That's canceled. That ain't happening. Ain't no way. You think that with the declining viewership, feedback, ratings of all things Disney, Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, if you push something back 2 years, they're going to make it? Knowing that Disney has announced 3 times more Star Wars properties than they actually produced and released, they cancel them. No, not a chance. These things cost money to make, and they'll.
Yeah, I guess if they're expecting Pedro Pascal to be in it, I could definitely see where it would have to be postponed because he's doing Fantastic Four. He's got to do that first. But he's in a place now where pretty much all he needs to do is just do voiceovers. You know, anybody else can play the Mandalorian with a helmet on. Doesn't need to be him. And he pretty much said that, if they do another series, whatever, of the Mandalorian, that's pretty much what he's going to do. He doesn't actually show up to film anymore. He just does the voices. And I couldn't see. I mean, I could not see them canceling it, because they have pushed it off so far. But yeah,
let's see who is KF? Is that Kevin Feige?
Kevin Feige, I think. Yeah.
So no, those aren't rumors. Those are official casting reveals. Deadline, I think it was Deadline.
Yeah, Variety, I think too.
Yeah, Deadline had the exclusive on it, and even since Deadline did the exclusive reveal, Kevin Feige didn't shut those down. If Kevin Feige's pretending to shut those down, it's because they decided, never mind. But those were official casting announcements that came out for female surfer, for Girl Surfer.
We've got 8 months left of the year, and like I told you earlier, I want to see Mad Max. I want to see
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes. I want to see Toxic Avenger. And I want to see Joker. So it equals about 1 every 2 months. So we're running out of time to get all these movies in. So
yeah, I'm be honest with you. For me, Fantastic Four is dead on arrival. Like I don't want to beat a dead horse. It beats itself. There's no reason to beat a dead horse. Like I'll always have Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I will always love that movie. And that's where I'm at with Marvel movies. I'm not hyped for them anymore. If they come out and they're great, I'm excited to check them out and enjoy them. But you don't get
the benefit of Guardians of the Galaxy. That was all I watched in the theater.
Out of all of them, like Iron Man, Captain America.
I didn't watch any of them. I didn't watch. Yeah, I didn't watch Shang-Chi. It just came out not that long ago. I didn't watch. Doctor Strange. Didn't watch any of that.
The first one was fantastic. I really liked it. It was really, really wild. But the early stuff, dude. Winter Soldier,
Civil War was pretty good, I thought.
Civil War was, but the early stuff is so freaking good.
They turned me off.
And what's crazy? Anybody that's really loving the new stuff, go back and watch the new stuff again. It might have been a while since or the old stuff. It might have been a while since you've seen it.
Yeah, they turned me off in 2008 when they made that Hulk movie, and I was like, ugh.
What, dude? I enjoyed that. I like how they piggybacked off of the Bill Bixby show. Dude, just some of those transformation scenes alone got me. That whole college campus fight out got me.
Yeah, I noticed you use that little kick scene where you got Abomination flying into that tree.
Oh yeah, like when people like to show stuff off and everything. I thought it'd be just like when people are just showing books excessively on the Friday morning, just be like,
"Is that it? Is that all you got?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I want more of a dark movie and less of a superhero movie out of that. I want him to, more like the comic book now.
Yeah, well, they definitely, thanks to Al Ewing, kind of shifted back into the monster aspect of him.
Yeah,
that right there, that literally to me felt like that clearly was pulled out of the Bruce Jones run. You remember like the Return of the Monster era, like the Mr. Green texting on the computer, Mr. Blue, and all that. That was straight out of the Bruce Jones thing. And you can see where even after the college campus fight, when he takes Betty, who's unconscious, and they go to the cave and the lightning strike, that's straight out of like Hulk Gray and stuff. Like, no, I've seen all of this. This is great. But when it came down to it, actual piecing it all together, it was a Louis Leterrier film, like the Clash of the Titans remake and other fast-paced kind of popcorn flick action movies. It was one of those. It was a popcorn flick action movie. It didn't have enough emotional depth to it. Like the Ang Lee one did. Like, and I went back and watched that Ang Lee one recently, and for all its faults, that movie holds up better now than it did when it came out. Like, not even gonna lie, that it just hit different. I think I miss that serious. This isn't a joke. These are real characters. You're gonna get invested in them. You're gonna have emotions with them, and I knew it back then, but watching it again, when he hulks out in Talbot's bunker, it's a 45-minute scene of him just against the world, like from tanks to helicopters to jets. Like it doesn't stop. I'm like, this is amazing.
I want the scruffy hitchhiker Bruce Banner, that's just afraid to turn into Hulk. And when he does turn into Hulk, I want him to destroy, Girl Scouts just like he does bad guys. I just want him to go on a rampage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want a talking Hulk that cares about Charlie or whatever. You know what I mean?
Screw Charlie.
Yeah.
I feel you. Yeah. And again, that's another reason why I think don't expect anything from Disney. Don't expect anything from Marvel. And I don't mean just like anything good. I mean, like, don't expect it. Like if that company had half a brain, which they're showing that they don't, especially post proxy war. Like we've been kind of keeping up with the proxy battle on Sunday nights. Ike won the proxy battle. He talked the shareholders into they all wanted to keep their seat. The Nelson Peltz and the firm were only asking for 2 seats, but they wouldn't even give up 2 seats. And as soon as Ike won the proxy battle, the next day they announced Girl Surfer. And in that day, in real time after the announcement, they lost over $5 billion. $5 billion in their share price.
Iger one, not Ike.
Yeah, Iger one. Yeah, because and they lost $5 billion because people are like the old guard staying. No. Like that just shows you that's just what it is.
Space
MCU went too fast and furious with movies after Phase 4. Everything has been super hit or miss, and most of the time it's been very miss. Yeah, I think it's more than Fast and Furious. Like I know it's not impossible, but if you put out a movie like Doom 2 every 3 months, everyone would still go see it every 3 months. Like they would. You want him to become Lou Ferrigno? Yes, that would be great.
There's Lou up there.
Oh, I think that would be something that would actually be pretty cool. Like if his strength and size didn't visually look equal. If he has the original stats from like the DC versus Marvel, they had the character info bios in the back. Hulk, 7 feet tall, 1 ton. Well, that doesn't add up. That's just all like that. You just wrote that down.
Yeah.
How do you make that look?
Yeah.
You don't. So you just have a 7 foot tall ripped guy literally throwing tanks. That would look crazy. Lou, yes, y'all are. Lou Ferrigno and I are tight. Steve got to meet him in person a couple times. That's really cool. All right, so let's do this giveaway thing. I'm supposed to show off what's in it, aren't I?
Yeah. Plus, which X-Men one, which X-Men book?
Oh yeah. I gotta pull up the vote. So I'll show y'all what's in here real quick, and then let me take that down so I can show what's in there. So this is in celebration with Ghost Machine dropping. I try to do themes in these just because it's fun. If I have to curate these and I get to come out of pocket for them, I try to make them fun. Make sure I have fun making them. It's my channel with you guys. But Big Time Collectibles always throws in some goodies. We have this awesome Masafara variant for one of the new Star Wars Mandalorian books. I believe this is the first Bo-Katan in comics, if I'm not mistaken. In my mind, she would have been there a long time ago, but I think this is their variant for her first appearance. So there she is on the cover. Also, isn't she in Battlestar Galactica?
She was. She played Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, so if you're a Starbucks fan, get you a coffee, get you this book, you're in there. The Masafara for Silver Surfer Ghostlight, which I was excited for this one, and then it became just like a cover buy because they didn't deliver on the story. Love me some Silver Surfer, but David Nakayama Gwenverse variant. And then I picked up the ratio for Moon Knight #1 because it's the first appearance of the new Moon Knight, which is the Shroud, which, FYI, if y'all didn't know, Cliff on Comics, very beloved member of the community, it's actually his second favorite superhero. It used to be a supervillain, now it's a superhero. Ghost Rider Final Vengeance #1, we talked about a little bit earlier, featuring the first appearance of the current Ghost Rider, the Hood, which has a lot of. Got a little lag here, sorry guys. Invincible Iron Man, John Jang variant. FDS Shroud, he was always a hero. But always got some Jang Gang goodness in there. And then on to the stuff for the theme. We got, let's see if I can do this in reverse order. Junkyard Joe #6 with this awesome cover with Muddy on the drawing board with his team of fallen brothers there with him. This is the first appearance of the Northerner per Jeff Johns. What does he know? So because I don't believe him, I also picked up Geiger Ground Zero #2, the actual first appearance of the Northerner. If you want to get technical, this would be like the first cameo, second cameo, because he's no talking part, only there for a second. And then his first actual appearance in Ghost Machine #1, as well as the first appearance of Rook, foiled out copy, foiled out of its mind. And then we've got Geiger #5, the Jerry Ordway variant, first cameo of Junkyard Joe, and it's a true cameo, like King Shark. All you see is like the shoulder patch. You know, you get no design, you have no clue what he looks like. It's a true cameo. I love it. It's classic comics in modern time. And then Junkyard Joe is Geiger #6, Gary Frank cover with Barney right there, featuring the first full appearance of Junkyard Joe. Then you got the Geiger 80-page giant featuring the first appearance of Redcoat. Fan favorite right there, Redcoat is. And then where it all began with the Jason Fabok cover for Geiger #1 in a CGC 9.8. Beautiful, beautiful cover. You know, I was really betting on people liking the Ghost Machine stuff and getting all this ahead of time in preparation for this giveaway. I'm glad that those guys didn't let us down. So that's got to be some fun stuff to have for anybody. A lot of people are just getting on board at the Ghost Machine launch. So that's the Mad Ghost stuff where it was all starting. So now you're financially prepared to retire if you win tonight. All right, let me pull up this
the survey.
The survey. So if you go to the community tab and you scroll down, you'll see that there was a poll. There's on there, pick one. Who do you want to be in here? It's 141 votes at 67%. The first appearance of Jubilee has won. So that's no one in there. Last but not least, X-Men issue number 244, the first appearance of Jubilee. I don't know what year that's from, 1989. So there you go. So with the X-Men 97 show coming out and releasing 2 good episodes before pulling the rug out from under us, I figured we celebrate. Now we have some variety there. All right. So that's what it is for this month. I appreciate everybody who comes and hang out, watches, subscribes, shares the stuff out, hit the thumbs up. But the channel members who financially put into the channel, there you go. That's where your money goes right there. And then some. So I appreciate everybody. If you want to continue, if you enjoy doing like monthly little things like that, the join button is down below. If not, doesn't matter. Come hang out anyway. Someone say Speedball? Absolutely not, sir. Not this week. All right, let me pull this back up and add to stage. There we go. So let's spin this. And whoever wins this, y'all got to, this time around, be patient with me getting it out. I'll try like hell to get it out this coming week, but my schedule is just weird. So, Paul, tell me when to stop shuffling.
Please stop.
All right, so now everybody keep in mind it was Paul that sat the rotation. So if you do not win, it is Paul's fault. Here we go.
Everyone's already mad at me today anyway for some reason, so might as well.
Dude.
Wait till I win.
That would be awesome. That'd be really funny. Izzy first. Nice. Big congrats to Izzy. I know he's watching wrestling right now. A big shout to Izzy. So yeah, there we go. Congrats to Izzy. Again, thank you everyone who came and hung out. Dope. Thank you for popping on.
Loved it.
Don't know, Dope does some dope stuff over on his channel too. He's also like a shorts connoisseur, some really funny stuff. But be sure to check out Dope Comicx, spelled just like it is down there with an X. And yeah, have some fun over there. That's going to do it for tonight. Until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.
Is that it? Is that all you got?